are ready to start. As I see it, the circumstances, the place where you are, which is some distance, reasonably, you figured that if the animated corpses were going to come and get you, that they would have by now, and you saw them fall over. And the basilisks did seem content merely to hang out on their rocks and eat them. Given all the monster knowledge rolls that were made, I should like you to understand. Looking, if you, and especially even if you look at that map, you will find that there are plenty of little bumps which easily could themselves be more basilisk eggs. So it's not as though those two were just sitting there in a pair waiting for you. Rather, there's probably more there. Um, so that's one consideration too, to to keep in mind.
Move
But they
on.
do look well. That the point being too that the basilisks seem fairly interested only in hanging out and eating rocks. They didn't really you know come slithering after you in some dedicated way. So you are far enough away from there to feel confident that if anything's coming after you from that spot, that you'll be able to manage it somehow. Um, and also, however, you're not that well. I went to go and look at the rules again, and I don't want a big debate about this, but what I found was that basic herbalism can increase if you have the right plants, which you do. Basic herbalism can increase um, the healing rate. And so the way I saw it was if you increase the healing rate past the rate of steady hit point loss that the poison put in you, which really wasn't that much. I mean, it was dangerous because it didn't stop, but it wasn't that much at every loss. If you could have the healing rate increase above that, then I figure that stops the poison. And
But it's
also,
time limited, right?
right, correct.
The healing rate is only going up for a limited number of hours.
But that's the same for the poison as well.
Okay.
Right. So I figure that means you could stabilize them until the clock runs out, and then we figure then they're safe from the effects. What I actually used was uh, a spirit affecting. It actually technically wasn't in the poison section. It was a spirit damaging, no, spirit boosting. Oh, I forget what it was. It's in my notes. It was actually, I was imaginative. There were actually two combined potions that I was using to be the water, and you know, it's
Well, it's your job to take care of checking those rates
right,
because I don't see them. So I can tell you what I can do, and you can tell me whether it's
right. As far as I can
good or
tell,
not.
and also we're also playing hard and playing kind of hard but loose with the rules in that we had two coordinated successful herbalism rolls. Okay, that must be something good, right? I mean, we might as well say, all right, look, that's just something good. Good at this point means you don't die. I'm happy, right? So that might be part of it as well. Well, with all that in mind, I have I will say that and again we will backtrack a little bit and say no vomiting was involved, but a great deal of shivering and sweating was involved, right? And so that the two of you have had a very bad 12 hours and were unable probably to travel well. If you probably went as far as you reasonably could away from the basilisks, but I wouldn't consider you to have traveled a full day's worth. I mean, dusters and a draver can cover a hell of a lot of terrain if they want to in a day. Um, but not today. The two of you were in terrible shape.
Okay.
So therefore, you kind of have a choice. You may press further into effectively unknown territory for any of you, which would be deeper into these kind of haunted, semi-taboo regions. You could proceed back to the Jackal tribe, which is where Vefselk was from, and where Farth was visiting. The Jackal tribe includes the Spider tribe or clan anyway, which it has absorbed, and that's what Vefselk is from. Or you can go in the direction that, for whatever reason, you can go back in the direction that Ithasha came from, and back to the tribe of the Ant people.
Okay.
And so I have decided that's what all your little tribes are. The Duster book says that tribes are, have animals. So, and that's distinct from having a personal totem. So a personal totem, like the fox for Ithasha, is your personal totem animal. I'm just talking about a symbolic critter for the tribe as a whole. That means a lot less, but is a reasonable signifier. So that's the idea. Any other? Given the nature of the terrain and the whole area, what is passable and what is not, those are the three available directions. Those.
Okay. So
right now,
just for the notes, before we left the vicinity of the waterhole, I would have liked to grab some more plants to take with me.
I figured that's part of the picture, yeah.
Otherwise, I would have probably have tried to get information out of Farid a little bit more about who they are, because he seems to be easier to...
I think we can actually open, like Primetime Adventures, let's open on an actual image of where everybody is and what they are doing. And what I see is that we have just got to the point where the two of them, and Dravers are tougher than Dusters, so I'm going to say it happens to Farith first, is able actually to drink water, and it feels good and is a normal drink for him, so that he's recovering enough so that he can talk in a comfortable way. And whereas Vefselk is still, she's gotten better, she's better, but she's not yet ready to converse. She might even be sleeping, I think, as the effects of the poison, of the herbs and the poison finally, are diminished, and so she's sleeping. Farth was sleeping as well, and now he has just woken up and is able to drink water. And
okay.
So Farth wakes up, probably barely remembering that last desperate effort to go sprinting across the desert, braving monsters and grabbing clothes and stuff like that. And so you are...
I'm figuring that since adrenaline has wore off for a while now, if I'm waking up, what I'm probably going to do is that I'm going to sit on a rock, probably holding my belly, because it's going to still have an effect on me, this thing. I'm not particularly well, but I figure I'm kind of withdrawn at the moment.
Okay.
Because now that all the excitement is gone, I have a lot of things to contend with. I've been sent to a place that almost killed me.
One thing you have to contend with is a woman with a cool shamanic staff who is with well, you said you were going to draw her tattoos at one point,
Yeah.
but now is probably the time when you might start doing that.
Yeah.
And she's remarkably at home here in these blasted wastelands, and is quite the picture of mystic duster, tribal life. And I suppose that I would like to ask Helma is, are you watching him, or are you watching, the skies, the horizon, that kind of thing?
I'm actually right now, as they were pretty bad when we stopped here. I'm watching them mainly.
Right. So Farith, you wake up and she's
in
looking...
some way I'm feeling responsible. I want to make sure that that my herbal treatment works and that they aren't getting worse.
Right.
So when he wakes up, I would probably ask in common,
right,
"Are you feeling better?"
And there she is looking at you and asking if you are feeling better.
Yeah, I stand up and answer that. Yes, thank you. It's the worst of it is behind me, and
what did you do back there? Why were you down there?
Well, I'm starting to think that I don't really know why I was there, because I've been sent here to do search for what I could say is a valuable resource around where I come from, and I didn't expect it to be a death trap, and I'm trying to understand what I should make of it. But right now, I think it's too soon to try and make any decision based on that, and I need a moment to realign myself and get better, and figure out what's going on here. So, since you're clearly better off than me right now, and you are right where you look like you are right where you're supposed to be, maybe I can ask you what you were doing there. Did you know that place? Was it? You told me it's not sacred to your tribe, but so if I'm not intruding, I want to ask you what you were doing there.
The place is not sacred for my tribe, but I knew that there are plants around that are useful. So I know the place. I wouldn't never go down there. I know better than that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I just know I shouldn't go down there. All these places they have been inhabited by people like humans.
The barbaric humans. I guess those we have seen were bodies of the barbaric humans.
That's what you call them.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I don't know if there is a word.
Yes, right.
Yeah, right. We call them that, I guess.
Those people, they lived here for a long time.
Yeah.
Before you came, and they died here.
I don't know if this is a history check, but I want to try and understand what were the relationships between the Duster people and the barbaric humans before.
Right. I don't know that. I'm not that kind of a person.
Let me clarify. Farith has a history skill.
Yeah.
So
I want.
Lorenzo's talking about his character making a roll.
Yes.
And then
I can't give him answers.
Right, you couldn't tell him
what you told I just wanted to say that.
What you told him was that these were the lands of those people, which is something you know. So that's good. Also, he had asked you not necessarily just about the site itself. He wanted to know what you were doing there.
I
Why
know.
did you call? Okay, that was. I didn't know if you missed that or just chose not to answer. So just check. And so then
You roll, my roll, yes.
I get to roll this one. Okay, then.